Welcome back to our channel, where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today, we bring you some news, shock and fear at Buckingham Palace as Prince William's title shake up Spurs Camilla crisis.
An insider source claims that Prince William made a very significant choice. One of these decisions included two low-profile royal relatives, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex. Although these judgments seem to be insignificant to people who are not familiar with the palace, they have a profound impact on staff members. Through his covert approval of additional royal obligations for the siblings, William has put himself in a position to come into conflict with Queen Camilla, who had intended to acquire a higher standing for her children. Sources claim that the consequence is an unspoken war between three parties: a prince who is getting ready to become king, a queen consort who is attempting to maintain her family's status, and a monarch who is struggling with sickness and trying to arbitrate between them. A palace at crossroads. It has been stated that Prince William has made a definitive decision to boost the status of Duchess Sophie's two children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, by assigning them new royal duties and titles. The royal household is reeling from this decision. This daring action is being carried out against the intentions of Queen Camilla, who is thought to have held ambitions of acquiring titles for her children, according to palace sources. Queen Camilla's wishes do not align with this bold action. The result is a hidden power struggle that pits the queen consort's personal desires against the future king's vision for the kingdom. This conflict takes place under the watchful eye of King Charles, who is increasing in age. In this unique play, the dynamics of the family are intertwined with themes of duty, tradition, and the destiny of the British crown. The choice that William made, which successfully shined a spotlight on the relatively low-profile Windsor cousins, is said to be an expression of his power at a time when his father's health is in doubt, according to reports. The Prince of Wales, who is 42 years old, is allegedly seizing more power from King Charles and even putting his foot down on several key decisions as he prepares for his future position. A significant choice that was made was to provide some lesser-known royals with more of a spotlight. More specifically, Lady Louise, who is 21 years old, and James, who is 17 years old, were brought in as more active members of the firm. Some with knowledge of the situation interpret this strategic maneuver as William's rejection of Camilla's power. It is a premeditated rebalancing of royal forces that has already resulted in angry confrontations from inside the palace gates. What makes titles still important? At first look, the subject of who uses the term HRH in the year 2025 appears to be complex. Nevertheless, titles continue to serve as the framework for royal public life. They set the rules, finances, expectations, and security. And most importantly, they choose who will help the crown when needed. Up until this point, Lady Louise, who is 21 years old, and James, who is 17 years old, have been living as quasi-private citizens. They have attended school away from press convoys and had summer jobs, just like other middle-class British teenagers. Although they were born with the right to royal rank, which was granted to them by the Letters Patent in 1917, their parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, decided against having them addressed as Princess and Prince. To Sophie, they have HRH if they wanted at 18, but I think it's highly unlikely. Sophie made her statement in an interview with the Sunday Times. In order to demonstrate that her mother was correct, Louise graciously declined the rank when she attained that level of achievement. Nevertheless, the calculation that takes place inside the firm has evolved over the course of the last 2 years. There has been a significant reduction in the number of working royals as a result of the following. The Queen has died away, Prince Philip has left the family, Prince Andrew has virtually retired, Princes Harry and Meghan have moved to California, and Princess Catherine and King Charles have both taken time off to get medical treatment. The court is extended to span hundreds of yearly engagements, according to insiders who describe the court that is hidden behind the smiling balcony scenes. As far as his assistants are concerned, William's perspective is pragmatic. He thinks that the Crown will still need around 12 full-time representatives, although he is in favour of a more streamlined monarchy when there are fewer heirs taking less money from taxpayers. Currently, we are functioning with 8, but in a bad year, we are down to 6, says one of the assistants. That can't be kept up after the king dies and William inherits. Because of this, the Prince of Wales has quietly shifted his focus toward recruiting the most trustworthy and controversy-free young Windsors that are now available. The Wessex children, assets in waiting. Since a long time ago, Lady Louise has been considered by members of the family to be the most promising grandchild of the Queen. She was polite, diligent, and dependably discreet, and she inherited Prince Philip's enthusiasm for carriage driving, even going so far as to compete in the Royal Windsor Horse Show. James, a tall and soft-spoken individual, gives the impression of being at ease when wearing his church uniform during church parades. He has already participated in several conservation activities. Royal handlers refer to the brothers as dormant capital since they have the lineage, the training, and, most importantly, none of the baggage that plagues some of their relatives. Together, the siblings are the embodiment of this concept. The accomplishment of 3 objectives is achieved by William via the advancement of Louise and James. The first benefit is that it fills evident personnel deficiencies without the dangers of employing courtiers or promoting those who are not related by blood. Secondly, it shows respect for the late Queen's desire that the family of the Duke of Edinburgh continue Philip's Youth Awards programme, which Edward is now serving as the chairperson of. Thirdly, it sends a message to the general people that the future monarch is prepared to make judgments based on merit rather than just pandering to popular appeal. Camilla's counter-argument. When seen from Queen Camilla's point of view, the proposal seems to be directed at her. Over the course of 20 years, she has been diligently working to restore her reputation by guiding King Charles through periods of poor health and protecting him from the whirlwinds of the tabloid press. Tom Parker Bowles, a cuisine writer, and Laura Lopes, an art curator, are her 2 children from her previous marriage. Both of them continue to be self-sufficient individuals. Although Camilla never anticipated that they would become Haws, courtiers have admitted that she had hoped that Charles would bestow upon them courtesy honours, maybe even life peerages, once he became king. When the king, who was committed to a slimmed-down programme, stated that there would be no such promotions, that dream was dashed. William's approach results in a significant widening of the deficit. Increasing the visibility of Edward's children is a means by which the Prince of Wales is re-establishing the hierarchy of the royal bloodline. While Sophie's children are born into royal lineage, Camilla's children are not. A person close to the Queen Consort claims that she views William's behaviour as unnecessarily provocative. This is particularly true when considering the fact that Charles is still alive and at the helm of the government. The source mutters, "It appears as though William is rearranging the seating plan before the curtain has fallen on Act 1, since it appears that he is doing so." After William terminated Annabel Elliott's design contracts with the Duchy of Cornwall, the friction between the 2 parties became even more intense. Throughout the years, Elliott, Camilla's sister, had been able to maintain a regular income by renovating cottages in the duchy. William terminated the arrangement this winter, presumably because Elliott successfully completed the tasks. According to those with knowledge of the situation, Camilla saw it as a clear indication that her family's power would not continue into the subsequent reign. King Charles caught in the middle. In the meanwhile, King Charles is forced to negotiate between his wife and son as he recovers from chemotherapy sessions due to his health. Palace physicians have restricted his schedule, leading to the assignment of additional responsibilities to William and, increasingly, Queen Camilla. Camilla has been the de facto senior royal at numerous engagements during the course of her relationship with Charles, who has relied on her as both a friend and a counsellor. However, Charles is also able to comprehend William's reasoning. The monarch remembers the late 1990s, when the Queen was mocked for being out of touch after Diana left and older relatives retired. It is not Charles's intention for William to inherit an understaffed company. In spite of this, the king is concerned about things going too rapidly. A senior courtier said that Charles demanded that any title changes involving Louise and James be postponed until after James's 18th birthday, which is in December. In his explanation, the courtier says His Majesty wants the young people to make their own decision. The impression that he is being pressured, or perhaps that he is coercing them, is something that he would want to avoid. The legal earthquake. What his advisors refer to as the legal earthquake was recently provoked by Prince William, as if the preceding title issue weren't already complicated enough. Since the beginning of the 20th century, Harbottle and Lewis has been responsible for managing the private affairs of the House of Windsor. It was earlier this year that William decided to break ways with the illustrious firm and instead hire Mishcon de Rea, who is most well known for defending Princess Diana throughout her divorce proceedings. According to Kensington Palace's official statement, the shift is a reflection of a more forward-looking approach to its governance. William is put at a remove from the attorneys who also represent Camilla's philanthropic charities, according to the unofficial perspective. The changeover had a chilling impact on the decision-making process inside the palace. Now, William's consulted lawyers are demanding 2 separate evaluations for any changes made to the king's policies. Camilla's advisors perceive the dual-track investigation as a subtle indication that her interests diverge from the Crown's. "We're all on the same side," a frustrated assistant complained to this reporter. "We're all on the same side." In spite of this, the layout remains unchanged. William is concerned with the management of risks in this situation. The fact that Camilla's stepson will do things his way, regardless of the precedent, is just another indication that he will do things his way. Public opinion and the opinions of experts. Uncertainty prevails outside the gates of the palace. In March, a survey conducted by YouGov revealed that 78% of respondents were satisfied with William's performance. 46% were satisfied with Camilla's performance, and a startling 62% supported the idea of bringing lesser-known royals forward to share public duties. The level of excitement among respondents under the age of 35 is muted. Many of them have a skeptical attitude towards expenditures linked to the monarchy. Edward Owens, a royal historian, observes that William walks a fine line. He cannot reduce the size of the monarchy to that of a corporate board, but at the same time, he must avoid giving the impression that there is an excessive surplus. Richard Eden, a more forthright commentator, is more direct. If the Prince of Wales does not deploy Louise and James as working royals, he risks exhausting himself and Catherine and ultimately weakening the crown, he said in an article that was published in the Daily Mail. Eden is of the opinion that the offspring of Queen Camilla, despite the fact that they are revered, lack the bloodline filter, which, rightly or wrongly, still matters. In the meanwhile, voices from the Republican Party perceive an opportunity. The argument put out by Graham Smith, who is a member of the advocacy group Republic, is that the struggle for the title demonstrates that the monarchy is incapable of reform without resorting to medieval logic from birthright. On the other hand, even Smith admits that Louise and James appear to be harmless young people who might try to do a decent job. Duchess Sophie, the quiet mediator. As the tempest rages around her, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, stands on the front line. It has been said that the late Queen placed a high value on her advice, and fashion experts have praised her as one of the most fashionable members of the family. Charities have also praised her for her low-key diligence. As a result of these characteristics, Sophie is now a natural mediator. The palace staff note that she dines in luxury with William one night and Camilla the next. All of her children have complete faith in her, William has complete regard for her judgment, and Camilla really values her discretion. It has been confirmed by sources that Sophie has encouraged Louise to complete her degree before considering full-time service and James to concentrate on completing his A-levels. It is alleged that Sophie told a friend, "If the crown calls, we will answer, but it should be their choice." Sophie is believed to have mentioned the idea before. In spite of this, she acknowledges that William's proposition has the potential to not only influence their futures, but also the longevity of the Windsor brand. The senior courtiers described 3 different possibilities that are now being discussed. Following completion of their education, Louise and James will next participate in a probationary year of engagements under the guidance of the Princess Royal. This phase is the first step in the gradual induction process. Taking this route would allow William to fulfill his staffing requirements while also honouring Charles's desire for a halt and Camilla's anxiety about the speed of the process. The second arrangement is known as the dual elevation deal, and it involves the siblings accepting working duties while Charles concurrently bestows lesser honours, maybe even life peerages, onto Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. With this agreement, Camilla would be able to claim a symbolic win and eliminate any analogies that may have been made. The third point is the status quo, which states that title determinations will stay frozen until Charles's death, allowing William to reconsider the topic as king. While this delays the dispute, it also prolongs the scarcity of workers. According to aides, William favours the second option because it resolves everything at once. Courtiers favour the first alternative, cabinet members tilt toward the third option, and William loves the second option because it resolves everything at once. The crown in waiting. In the end, every reign comes to an end, and every successor finally takes the throne. Ultimately, Prince William's discreet efforts to elevate the children of Wessex are fundamentally preparations for that moment. It also serves as a test of his political craftiness. Without destroying the slimmed-down narrative, would it be possible for him to increase the size of the bench? Would it be possible for him to sue the stepmother who is protective without giving up strategic ground? And is it possible for him to convince two young people who were brought up to live regular lives to embrace a fate that involves constant scrutiny? In the following months, the answers will become apparent, maybe being presented in a covert manner in the subsequent court circular or being disclosed by the individuals who accompany William on his visits abroad. There is no rift, the palace claims, at least for now. Despite this, those with access to the information closely monitor Camilla's schedule, William's personnel decisions, and most crucially, King Charles's medical updates. It's possible that the health of the monarch will determine how quickly or slowly these ideas work out. In conclusion, a seasoned royal journalist gives the following piece of advice. The Windsors are able to survive because they settle their disagreements in private. When private disagreements make their way into the front pages, there is a risk. William faces the challenge of modernizing the situation without turning it into a melodrama. On the basis of how effortlessly he manages to carry it off, it will be determined if the decision to bring Louise and James in will be regarded as a masterstroke or a misstep. To put it another way, responsibilities, family, and the future are deeply connected. As the world scrutinizes the palace plans and the ancient institution approaches the next phase of its history, it becomes a dynamic entity.
Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.